The creative process often thrives on the belief that a single person, working in isolation, can preserve a piece of history or expose a hidden truth. Alan J. Friedman lived this belief. An Emmy-winning composer, he spent decades compiling a monumental manuscript, a forensic investigation into the global financial interests he believed were behind the assassination of John F. Kennedy. That creative sanctuary was shattered in 2017. In a tactical operation labeled Operation Bitcoins, police stormed the home of cybersecurity expert Alberto Daniel Hill, arresting him on charges that would eventually be revealed as a judicial error. The warrant wasn't searching for a JFK manuscript, but the procedural logic of a police raid doesn't distinguish between a suspect's hard drives and the historical archives they contain. Once the machinery of an investigation is set in motion, human innocence is treated as a secondary concern. Alberto wasn't just a target, he was a guardian. He served as the sole international digital archivist for Alan J. Friedman, holding the only encrypted access to the composer's life's work. The destruction of that work happened not through a calculated plan, but through a systemic glitch. While the drive sat in an evidence locker, the police negligently allowed a battery to die. This triggered a hardware failure that permanently locked the encrypted data. Alberto was powerless to intervene. As he sat in a physical cell, he had to watch from a distance as his mentor's irreplaceable digital archive perished in a procedural vacuum. This is the byproduct of systems operating without empathy. When a lifetime of passion is reduced to an entry in an evidence log, it can be erased by something as trivial as an administrative rounding error. Alberto eventually walked out of prison, but the experience changed his trajectory. He turned the trauma of his wrongful arrest into a personal mandate to protect others from the same systemic indifference that caused Friedman his legacy. This path eventually converged with the crisis of Nicole Eggert. To the public, she was a 90s television icon. To a hacker, she was a high-value target for digital extortion. Behind the celebrity image was a vulnerable human reality. Following a stage 2 breast cancer diagnosis, Eggert spent 15 years documenting her treatment and recovery in digital journals she called her cancer diaries. These diaries were more than data. They were the raw, day-by-day proof of a human being fighting to survive. And in 2026, they were being threatened with total deletion. A hacker successfully breached Nicole's account, locking her out and effectively taking her 15 years of medical memories hostage. When Nicole tried reclaiming the account, Meta's security algorithms failed. The AI recognized her original device as foreign. Favoring the criminal's newly authenticated hardware, the algorithm prioritized authentication tokens over human identity. It systematically blocked the victim while her life's memories queued for deletion. This was the moment Alberto Hill intervened. Acting as a digital knight, he used his expertise to dive into the system to save a stranger's digital soul. When multi-billion-dollar systems align with a criminal through sheer indifference, only the intervention of another human being, driven by their own history of loss, can stop the clock. Alberto realized that to defeat the AI, he had to threaten the machine's bottom line. He weaponized international law, specifically GDPR Article 33, to alert Meta to a $5 billion liability regarding the breach of sensitive medical data. The maneuver worked. The legal pressure forced the automated processes to a halt, legally requiring a human administrator to manually review the case. For the first time, a person, not a program, looked at the evidence. The account was restored. The cancer diaries were saved. This resulted in a profound release of relief, a moment where human connection proved stronger than the algorithm that had nearly erased it. The override wasn't a hack of the code. It was a hack of the system itself. Alberto used a legal vulnerability to force a human-to-human interaction in a world that had tried to automate it away. This victory mirrors the core theme of Alan J. Friedman's Timothy Bolt, the struggle to transform human doings back into human beings. It's the difference between blindly following a procedure and acting with empathy. These automated systems thrive on procedural silence. For years, the crimes of people like Jeffrey Epstein were treated as open secrets, ignored by the system until individual human outrage and relentless reporting forced the machine to move. Our specific human experiences, the anger we feel at a wrongful arrest, or the tears shed over a restored diary, are the only tools we have that aren't programmed into the system. In a world of automated logic, your refusal to be processed is the only thing that maintains our humanity. Act with the empathy that the machine lacks, and never let the system tell you who you are.